Xavi is the first Barca manager in my lifetime who doesn't have a superstar player. So it's a funny thing. So I started probably watching football around the 90s and so forth. And throughout my football watching lifetime, I would say that I have seen both the greatest Barcelona team of all time and the worst Barcelona team of all time. So obviously, if we just say circa '09 to 2015, so starting with, of course, when Pep first came through to MSN, greatest Barcelona team of all, or greatest Barcelona era of all time. Greatest Barcelona team, you may argue, was maybe the 2011 team. As like a team, it was probably, so as a team, it was probably '09 to 2011, 2012. And but if you just say a team, maybe you would say it was 2011, which is, we had, Pedro via Messi, peak Iniesta, peak Xavi, peak Busquets, so for that. I think, Alba as well. Um, I think, yeah, Daniel Alves as well. Yeah, Daniel. No, sorry, because they had Abidal, and then it was Abidal who was on the left, and then obviously Alves. Um, and now I would say this is the worst Barca team I've ever seen. Because remember the Romario, Stoichkov, Rivaldo, Kluivert era, all those eras and so forth. This is the worst. Just in terms of all of those teams. And I said this before already, that it is the first time ever that Barca don't have a truly superstar player. You know, whether it was Romario, whether it was young Ronaldo, whether it was Rivaldo, Neymar, Dino, Messi. This is the first time. Now, we all thought it was going to be Ansu Fati. Injury tax that did not happen. And we're not going to call Lewandowski. We're not going to put Lewandowski up to the same standards as Romario, Ronaldo, Rivaldo, and so forth. We're not doing that. So I'm just trying to, because when I was just doing this video, I was just trying to figure out how to approach this, because you look at, so Barca, Champions League, you come out of the Champions League, and what do we always say? Those teams, like, when people ask me, who's the favorite for the Europa League, I always say, no, let's see who drops down from the Champions League, because whoever drops down from the Champions League, I think has a great chance. So I thought that whoever dropped out of that Barca ban intergroup, they have to be one of the favorites for the Europa League, because I just felt those teams would be are much stronger and larger in stature than everyone else in the Europa League. So when it was Barca, shockingly, that's dropped down, I was like, they've got to be favorites for the Europa League. So when you just look at what's happened over two legs here, this is strange, because and then I asked myself this. I said to myself that, so a team is first in La Liga and only has 7 goals conceded, but over two legs, they were largely outplayed and outperformed by a team in third place in the EPL. Both teams are sort of in a rebuild. Let's argue, in a transitional phase. But this is Ten Hag's first season. This is Xavi's second season, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is Xavi's second season with Barca. Well, I don't think he had the full season last season. I think he came through halfway today. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, but then my other point to that is matchups. See, football isn't 1 + 1 = 2. Well, if they're first and they lost to third, oh my gosh, therefore they are crap. No. Matchups. There isn't a team that has the personnel, the players, or the play style or approach like Man United in La Liga. And because we could also talk about how Valencia, Sevilla, all these guys have, you can even argue Atleti have declined in La Liga as opposed to how they were like 3, 4, 5 years ago. Hence why it's very hard for them to score against Barca. But I think, so this is a Xavi thing. And I want to just talk about your boy Xavi. Xavi there. Because was this loss down to him? I hate the answer of like, oh, yes or no. I would say I would lean more towards yes. Although I can give an argument of no. So my thing is it was yes. It was largely down to him, yes. But the argument for no is so in that first leg you had Pedri who got injured. And that was one of your main players. I now go into the second leg, and you have no Pedri, you have no Gavi, you have no Dembele. So these are three of your top players in there. And that's the only defense I'm going to give Xavi. So beyond that, it's like this. And I think this is what guys were saying. Are you all in on the Europa or are you not? Because if you're all in for the Europa, in that first leg, why are Alonso and Kunde as centre back? And why is Alba? So why is Alba on the pitch? Why is Alonso playing as Alonso on the pitch? And why is Alonso central to defense? So that's not your first choice defense that you're playing. And beyond that, this is not where it now comes into coaching and management. Because despite the injuries and so forth, there is still enough quality to say what's up. Because you look at the second leg, and you're starting Sergio Roberto as a left wing attacker. You've got Fati on the bench. You've got Ferran Torres on the bench. So either of these should be, because I don't care how Ansu Fati has declined and so forth. In no world of stratosphere, and bro, I'm not a fan of Ferran Torres at all. But in what world are you starting Sergio Roberto as a left-wing attacker? Now, it may have been Xavi trying to be like Pep. I'm like, oh, let me just be experimental and try and catch some guys out. It failed horribly because he was garbage. So whatever experiments he tried, it failed horribly. So my thing though is, you have to put yourselves in the best position to succeed. And I just felt that as there is a difference between the league and the UCL. These are two very, very different situations that you're dealing with, the league and the UCL. Because the league is rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Because you're facing these guys so many times. And remember, when you're in a league and you're Barcelona, you should be winning 95% of your games. That's just how it is. It's about rinse and repeat. When now going into Europe, you're now facing the best of the best from Europe. So therefore, you're facing better players, but specifically now facing better managers, better coaches, better tacticians. So Xavi can sort of hide behind, we are Barcelona. Most of our players are better than most of you guys in La Liga. But when you're going to Europe and you're facing a Ten Hag who is from the Cruyff school and coming from Ajax, and you're now facing Man United with the kind of spending power and the pull they have, that is a whole different level of difficulty that you don't face in the league. So the reality of Xavi is this, because it's a weird one, because as much as we know that he doesn't have the experience, as much as we know that he's not nowhere near on the same level as Ten Hag, like in a managerial tactical shootout between Xavi and Ten Hag wins 9 times out of 10. Xavi does not have what Koeman had, what Van Gaal had, what Rijkaard had. Van Gaal had Rivaldo, and I think he had Romario. Rijkaard had Ronaldinho, and of course Pep, Luis Enrique had Messi. So Xavi is the first Barca manager in my lifetime who doesn't have a superstar player that you can galvanize around. Pedri is really good. He's a quality young player. Lewandowski is a great stats padder. He doesn't have that one truly sensational player. And say what you want and so forth, that is a very strong point. Because having a Messi, a Rivaldo, a Neymar, a Ronaldinho, these are guys where you can do all your tactics and so forth, do that and everything, but these guys can just produce magic out of nothing. Put Messi on that pitch, Messi probably produces something magical that wins the game for Barcelona. He probably produces something magical that even if United are having chances there, they're controlling, Messi just has a freaking boom. He dribbles past 2, 3, 4, 5 players, top corner. He dribbles past two players, knocks the ball over to Lewandowski. Lewandowski scores, he's tapping and boom. So that's kind of cheat code is something that I say we've got to empathize with Xavi with. Of course, he can be better tactically. Of course, he can make better choices. Of course, he can. Of course, if he was a better coach, manager, he can help Ansu Fati refine his form, extract that quality from him, make him rediscover himself, get a lot better out of Lewandowski, gets much more productivity out of him. So, of course, if he was a coach that had more experience and so forth, you can turn rock into gold. But we have to be real that Xavi doesn't have the luxuries or the luxury that previous managers had. So you are now having to work with a team that doesn't have a superstar player. So it's the first time since I've been watching football that Barcelona have not had a sensational superstar player, like an individual game changer. Like some of the stuff that Rivaldo did was insane. So it's not like Rivaldo would just produce something out of nothing. I go onto YouTube and watch his hat trick on the last day of the season to help Barca qualify for Europe against Valencia. It is the greatest hat trick of all time. Is well that it is the greatest hat trick of all time in terms of just quality. So here's my thing. This is just where I'll end this. Here's my thinking. To judge Xavi truthfully, because I don't think it's fair to say, oh man, he's not as good as Luis Enrique. Would Luis Enrique have won that treble without either Neymar or Messi? Would Rijkaard have won that UCL without Ronaldinho? Would Barca have qualified for that for Europe? Sorry, would Van Gaal have qualified for Europe on that last day without Rivaldo? So there is no player in this Xavi team that is even close to what Romario, Rivaldo, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Messi, or Neymar is. Heck, Jaws. Lewandowski in Jaws. Lewandowski is a good start, but Lewandowski as a all-rounded footballing striker, Lewandowski does not have the ability that Jaws had. So I think that is where people, and because when we've been having the hangouts and the discussions, people have been missing that. That what have previous Barca managers had, and what has Xavi had? Because Koeman had Messi, he had him, So shouldn't Xavi? So as much as we want to criticize him, and of course we can, and we know that the guy is lacking tactically, and we saw that with how he got pimped by Frankfurt in the Europa League, and how Ten Hag was able just to tactically exploit him at Camp Nou. So we know that and we knew this because he's still a rookie, But he like Real Madrid, they've got Benzema, they've got Modric, and so on and so forth. Their Barca's best player is an aging Lewandowski, where we can clearly see his age, and Pedri is extremely young. Araujo, top defender. He's a top defender. But look at the pieces that previous Barca managers had, and look at what Xavi has had. So if Barca got Endrick, or they were able to get Neymar back, or someone Messi returns back, then I think we can now fairly judge Xavi to previous managers. You see, as of right now, this is what it is. See, I'm talking about Xavi compared to previous managers. But as a manager right now, it is what it is. This is the place you have at your disposal. Go. But if I look at man to man, the teams of United and Barca, it's somewhat comparable. I mean, because Pedri got interested. See, if Pedri and Gavi were playing, I'm like, okay, and you have Kessie, okay, that's midfield. Bar Casemiro, I'm thinking Barca's midfield. You'd probably take Barca's defense, especially with Marajo, but then Koundé is a bit iffy. And in the attack, you'd probably take United. I mean, you'd probably take United because you've got Anthony, you've got Garnacho, you've got Rashford. You may take Man United's attack, and obviously Martial is obviously injured. So is Xavi the right man to take Barcelona forward? For now, yes. That's it. For now, yes. Because the reality is Barca's team isn't good enough for Europe. Barca's team is a Europa League team. This team, these players, they're not a Champions League team now. They're not. There, there's not enough quality, personnel-wise, to be a team to be taken seriously in the Champions League. Europa League, okay, you can do better in the Europa League. Europa League, it was an L. It was an L. Champions League, no, this is not a Champions League team. League-wise, so because see for me, let's see what happens. Because if Barca win this league, you're gonna give Xavi the dub because Real Madrid, man for man, squad are better than Barca. They're better. Man for man, and as a squad, they're better. And don't say league tax because league tax applies to Messi. Messi was the cheat code for the league tax for Barca. Before Messi, Barca were not winning leagues the way they were under Messi. So let's review things at the end of the day, man. But yeah, tell me guys what you think, man. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Tell me guys what you think there, man. Use your phone to scan the QR code, scan that QR code, to enter that official Discord server. Use your phone to scan the QR code to enter the Discord server, man. And I'll try and meet you up in there, man. Like, subscribe. I'll see you in another one. Peace out.